Chapter 2040, I've always been pretty smart. Yang Xinxin talked non-stop about her interpretation of this world. Since arriving here, she had been observing, and now she had come to her own conclusions. Li Changgong looked at Yang Xinxin with some surprise, a glimmer of admiration flashing in his eyes. He nodded. As expected of Miss Yang Xinxin, your comprehension is top-notch. I think you've probably realized the true nature of this world. Zhang Yi also nodded. It's pretty much what I thought, only your thoughts are more profound. At this moment, Fatty Sue suddenly spoke up weakly. If that's the case, then this isn't a fantasy world, and there aren't any traps deliberately set up for us. Then, do we have a chance to live here forever? Zhou Haimei lowered her head and fell into deep thought. From the way she clutched her fingers, one could see the complexity of her inner thoughts. But it seemed that she was willing to stay. Back in the outside world, they would have to face frequent battles. The living conditions in Tianhai City were very good, but the whole world was still covered in ice and snow, with little sign of life. No matter how strong Zhang Yi was, could he guarantee that they would never encounter danger in the future? If something happened to him, everyone would die. Even if nothing happened for the time being, the threat of various underground races would gradually arrive in the future and could not be avoided. After the Drucker Titan was completely revived, it would devour all of them. Why did they still want to return to that damn outside world? Everyone's hearts began to waver. Not to mention them, even Zhang Yi himself had some feelings and once thought that this place wasn't so bad. Fatty Sue, you're right. Zhang Yi said sincerely. Fatty Sue was taken aback. This was a rare opportunity. Zhang Yi didn't mock him and directly agreed with what he said. Fatty Sue scratched his head a little embarrassed. Hee, boss, I've actually always been quite smart, it's just that you guys didn't notice. Zhang Yi glanced at him. Don't get too excited just yet. Your understanding is not wrong, but it's too early to really think that this place is a blessed land. I don't like entrusting my life to others. No matter how powerful Mammon is, he is not invincible. Moreover, from the second generation to the present, only 7 Drucker Titans remain. This is a race targeted by the Creator. Once they are completely revived, it will be time for all races around the world to launch a campaign against them. Mammon's revival will take a few decades at most. Can you guarantee that he won't be destroyed by then? The so-called almost impossible to kill has one prerequisite, and that is almost. It is not 100%. If you stay in this world and become part of Mammon's world, you will become a source of power for Mammon. It is unclear when Mammon will devour your self-existence. When he said this, everyone felt a wave of fear. Here, Mammon was the god of creation, and he could easily control the lives of all living beings. At the moment of life and death, sacrificing all living beings in this world to save their own lives was something the Druckers would do. I like to control my own destiny, said Zhang Yi. But, he looked at everyone with a glint in his eyes. I've realized something. This thing is very important to me and to all of us. What is it? Everyone asked in unison. Zhang Yi laughed. It's a secret, I can't tell you yet. You'll have to wait a long time before you can verify it. What? Everyone expressed their dissatisfaction with Zhang Yi's teasing behavior. But Zhang Yi just laughed and didn't explain. The time isn't right yet. It's just an idea I have. If one day, my idea can really be realized, then. Zhang Yi took a sip of fruit wine from a wooden cup, his eyes deep with meaning. Then we can live a happy life. We won't have to worry about anyone disturbing us anymore. Yang Xinxin looked at Zhang Yi beside her, a dreamy smile in her eyes. She guessed what Zhang Yi was planning to do. But there was no need to say it out loud, because it would take a long time to achieve. After everyone had finished dinner, they took another tour of the royal city. To be fair, this world was much more beautiful than the physical world created by the Creator. Mammon was indeed the 3rd generation, and he understood very well what the creatures of the physical world needed. They needed food and clothing, love and peace, and goals in life. The social system of the Kingdom of Helen was particularly eye-catching. After dinner, they returned to the royal palace to stay for the night. During this time, several female adventurers tried to wear sexy clothes and held magic lamps to come and talk to Zhang Yi, but they were all politely turned away by Zhang Yi. The next day, Zhang Yi got up as soon as the sun rose over the hills. There was no heating, and the temperature was completely natural and comfortable. Zhang Yi walked to the window, opened it, and let the breeze blow on his face. The feeling was wonderful. A maid came over with toiletries and helped Zhang Yi wash up. "Brave one, His Majesty the King and Her Highness the Princess have prepared breakfast. Please join them." Zhang Yi accepted their service with ease, threw the towel aside, and smiled slightly. "I understand." He went to the dining hall with Li Changgong. The royal palace's dining hall was not too luxurious. After all, it was built with the people's tax money, and there were strict regulations on the standard of food. However, in order to entertain the noble brave hero, the food was very good. As soon as they saw Zhang Yi, King Locke and Princess Mel immediately smiled and greeted him warmly. "Did you rest well last night, Lord Chaos? We hope you are in good spirits to set off for the front lines and defeat the Demon King's army." "I slept well last night, don't worry about me." Zhang Yi replied casually, but remembering that the people in front of him were not NPCs, he politely added, "Thank you for your concern." Mel looked around and saw that only Zhang Yi and Li Changgong were there, so she asked curiously, "Where are your companions?" Zhang Yi said, "They all have things to do, don't worry about it." At the breakfast table, the king and Mel chatted away, earnestly describing the terribleness of the Demon King's army and promising Zhang Yi what rewards the kingdom would give him after the mission was accomplished. These included, but were not limited to, a large piece of land, a generous annual salary, and the title of Duke. Chapter 2041, The Grandmaster of Space. Of course, in this world, nothing you get is hereditary. After all, children cannot be raised alone. Zhang Yi was in a peaceful state of mind at the time and didn't pay much attention to any of this, so he responded casually. After finishing breakfast, Zhang Yi said, "Okay, I'm going to the border. There's no need to prepare any other trivial ceremonies. I'm running out of time." As he had expected, the king and princess had indeed prepared a grand ceremony, and they had done everything perfectly. Unfortunately, Zhang Yi wasn't interested at all. Although he admired this world, he wasn't particularly fond of it. Princess Mel laughed softly. "As expected of a brave warrior, you have a unique way of doing things." She called over the 4 female adventurers and said, "These 4 adventurers are the elite of the elite in the kingdom of Helen. They will follow you and obey your every command. In addition, this is your letter of appointment from the kingdom. Take this letter of appointment and go to the military stronghold of Mag City, the first line of defense. The local expeditionary force will cooperate with you in your mission." Zhang Yi took the parchment and, without even looking at it, threw it directly into his dimensional space. He confirmed the location of Mag City, which was more than 1,000 kilometers southwest of the royal city. "That's quite far," Zhang Yi said indifferently. Princess Mel smiled and nodded. "Don't worry, we've already made preparations." She clapped her hands lightly, and soon several tall horses were led here by soldiers. Those tall horses were astonishing, over 3 meters tall, nearly twice the height of an average person. Their bodies were covered in thick, long manes, their hooves blazed with flames, and their eyes gleamed with a fierce intensity. Most notably, their bodies were covered in scales, giving them an odd, otherworldly appearance. These are dragon scale horses. They are the finest mode of transportation on the entire continent. Riding them, you can travel 800 li in a single day, and even rivers and lakes pose no obstacle, they can swim across them effortlessly. If you ride them, you can reach Mag City in 2 or 3 days. Zhang Yi glanced at these dragon scale horses and didn't intend to take them. But after thinking about it, why not take something that was being given away for free? He could take them back to study them. So, he politely nodded and accepted the dragon scale horses. "Then, we'll part ways here. Wait for our good news of victory." Zhang Yi reached out his hand to bid farewell to Princess Mel and King Locke. Then he turned around and went straight to the tallest dragon scale horse. Although that tall and heroic dragon-scale horse had been tamed, its beastly nature still made it very arrogant, and not just anyone could ride it. When it saw a short human approaching, it immediately sprayed white smoke from its nostrils and lowered its head to examine the human in front of it, wanting to see if he was qualified to ride on its back. When Zhang Yi walked over, it actually turned its head and turned its body to one side. At the same time, it bared its teeth, revealing a mouthful of white teeth, as if mocking the human in front of it. "Dare to bare your teeth?" Zhang Yi smiled faintly and placed one hand directly on the horse's back. In the next moment, the dragon-scaled horse was squeezed by Zhang Yi like a chicken, grabbed by the back and lifted up. "Een!" The tall dragon-scaled horse was lifted into the air by Zhang Yi, scared to death, its hooves kicking wildly and neighing repeatedly. Without a word, Zhang Yi threw it into his shadow. "Here, study this thing. If it has no use, then Sia can check if its meat is good. There are male and female horses, so we can take them out to breed and supplement our meat supply." The dragon-scaled horses were the best mounts on this continent, worth 1,000 gold pieces each. It never imagined that someone would consider barbecuing it. Mel and the others were stunned. A grand mage with space abilities? Zhang Yi didn't waste any time and collected all the dragon-scale horses in one go. Then he turned back to the stunned female adventurers and said, "Don't just stand there, hurry up and follow me." As soon as he finished speaking, he reached out and split open a dimensional gate in midair, then walked through it. His figure disappeared from the spot, and Li Changgong followed closely behind. The female adventurers looked at Mel and the king, and after receiving a nod from the two, they quickly followed suit. Princess Mel and King Locke stood where they were, feeling a little disoriented in the wind. "This hero seems to be a little different. He always seems to look down on everyone. But it's not arrogance, it's that he really doesn't care about any of us. As long as he can defeat the Demon King and bring peace back to Helen, that's all that matters." The four adventurers followed Zhang Yi and truly felt what it was like to be in a dream, crossing thousands of mountains and rivers in an instant. The doors of space opened every 5 kilometers, which was a very long distance for people from their world. One moment they were in the royal city, and the next they were in the sky. Soon, they flew toward the distant mountains. Several female adventurers were also ability users from another world, but due to the restrictions of their world's level, their abilities were far inferior to those of the mutants outside. They were stunned by the skills Zhang Yi displayed. "Is this a grandmaster of space abilities? That must be at least level 90 magic." The dragon girl was so surprised that she couldn't close her mouth. Even she, who was usually so bold, couldn't help but be amazed. Not only that, far beyond that, the twin magicians were even more shocked. They looked at Zhang Yi's towering figure and armor and gradually became obsessed with him, revering him like a god. He cast space magic without chanting, and he did it continuously without a break. Even in Legends, I've never heard of a grandmaster of space abilities who could do that. He's a god. Zhang Yi himself didn't know that in just a short moment, he had gained several loyal little fans. He now wanted nothing more than to hurry to Mag City, defeat the Demon King Senkel, and see if he could shake Ling's human form. Brave hero?" Aniki spoke weakly. Zhang Yi glanced back at her. "What is it? Are you a god?" Onyx's eyes were filled with admiration. "In my eyes, you are the god of magic." Zhang Yi smiled faintly. "In a sense, I guess so." He was not from this world and had long since lost his reverence for gods. The so-called gods were just powerful humans. As for the creator, it was just a combination of consciousness and did not need to be worshipped. Because it would not pay any attention to the will of humans, whether you hated it or loved it, it did not matter to it.